Hey guys, welcome to In the Game Room. This is Alan and I am out in my workshop at my workbench. Tonight I want to talk about a topic that I've been thinking a lot about lately, and that is having a clean or organized work area and how that affects your work. This is my workbench where I do my work, whether it be my own personal work for my hobby or making masters for my business. This place here is where I do most of that kind of work. I do a lot of work on the computer, also like CAD design and things like that. But if it's a matter of sitting down and actually, working on a miniature and doing something to it, this right here is where I sit to do it. Now, what you're seeing here is the way my workbench looks today. I didn't do any special cleaning or anything like that. Sometimes it looks a lot worse, sometimes it looks a lot better. This is actually fairly average. Even though it's a very large flat workspace, the actual area where you can see the work surface is usually pretty small because there's a lot of peripheral crap, the stuff I'm working on and tools and things like that. But trying to keep a little area clear is really quite a challenge, but that's kind of what I want to talk about here. Let me show you guys a picture of what my workbench looked like a few months ago. So that's what my workbench looked like. It was just covered in crap. I had a couple of paint racks and things were just everywhere. And that's just right in front of me. There's behind me, there's over here, there's all around there was crap. And actually, to be perfectly honest, behind me and over here is still a lot of crap. This is the area that I've managed to kind of get my shit together. But when my area got to that point where it was in that photo that I just showed you, that's when I decided that I kind of need to do something about it, because like I said, not only is this my personal workbench for my personal hobby projects, but this is where I work. And when I come out here and I need to start working on a miniature that I'm going to make a mold of and cast and sell and all that, I don't really need to be spending a lot of time cleaning up. I need to sit down, do what I need to do, and move on. So it's really kind of important to me that I'm able to do that. I'm not one of those people where my workbench always has to be clean. I'm not really that fanatic about that. But when it comes to work, I'm realizing how much time I'm wasting just trying to either work in a mess or clean up the mess before I can get to work. So I've been trying to get myself in the habit of keeping my area clean. And trust me, after 30 plus years as a professional full-time model maker, I've worked in a lot of different shops. I've had a lot of different shops, and some of them have been real shitholes and others have been less of a shithole. I've really kind of finally come to the conclusion that it's really worth it for me anyways to take the time and try to clean up the place and try to keep it clean, and then I can actually get some work done. A lot of people will tell you if you're going to build something nice, it's not going to come out of a workshop that looks like shit. If you want a nice product, you're going to have to start with a nice environment. I don't know how true that is because, like I said, I've worked in some really, really dirty shops and I've made some, okay, now I'm bragging, but I've made some really bitchin' models. So it's not a rule as such, but maybe the models I made could have been better. Maybe I could have got them done faster, on budget, on time, etc. if I had a cleaner workspace. So that kind of got me, like I said, got me thinking lately about trying to keep my workplace cleaner. And I'm trying a lot of different things. The paint racks that I designed first for myself because I knew I needed them. I had paint everywhere. They were stacked up. I had paint in boxes. And once you put paint in a box, forget it. You're never going to see it again, because if I can't see the color and grab it, I'm not going to go looking through a box trying to find it. It's going to sit in that box until it goes bad, and then I'm going to throw it away. So I really need to get my paints out where I can see them and see what I have, And then if I'm painting something and I need a color that looks a little something like this, I'll just grab it and use it. I won't have to wonder, like, do I have that color? And if so, where the hell is it? It's right there. So the paint racks have worked out really well for me. Some things don't work out quite as well, and I'll be perfectly honest, this is one of my products right here. Underneath this paint rack, I don't know if you can see it, there's a couple of drawers here. This is something that a customer requested from me, and I've made this and offered it for sale, and I've sold quite a few of them. People like them, but to be honest, it really doesn't work out very well for me, and that's what I've discovered here, because I always have a lot of things sitting on my workbench, even when I try to keep it clean. And once things are sitting here, these drawers are of no use anymore. I can't open them up without moving all this stuff, getting what I need out of the drawer, and then moving this stuff back. So it's a trial and error, really, for me to find out what works for me and what doesn't work for me. These drawers, I'm probably going to have to pull them out and get rid of them, because they don't really fit into my work style. I've already forgotten what's in them. That's another thing. Once you put things in a drawer, it's really easy to forget what's in there. I have the same problem. You can't see it, but directly behind the camera, I have two full-size, 6-foot-tall roll-away toolboxes full of machinist tools and hand tools and things like that. And once something goes in there, it's in there forever. I forget it's in there. I've literally gone out and repurchased tools that I already own because I've forgotten where I put them. And that's a problem with drawers. You forget what's in them. So getting back to these little guys here, some people really love them, and if you can keep your desktop perfectly clean, these could probably give you extra storage space under your paint racks, which is otherwise unutilized. So like I said, some people really love them, so that's great. They don't work out so great for me. Another thing that I struggle with in my work area is shelving. You can see this shelf. I don't know if you can see this next one. There's one right here, and then there's two more above that. And it's kind of the same thing as drawers. Once things go up on that shelf, I mean, unless I can really see them, they're lost forever. There's things up there on the higher shelves that I'm not even sure what's up there. Some of the boxes are marked and they say what's in them, so if I need to find something, that's fine. But I'm not sure what to do about that situation. Maybe more bin boxes with labels on them that say what's in them. That might be helpful for me. That's something I've got to work on, because there's just a lot of stuff up here that, like I said, I don't know what a lot of it is. I'd have to go digging through it. And if I thought something was up there somewhere and I went to look for it, it's a real crapshoot. Even, where to even start looking. I just know it's up there somewhere. So shelving is something that I kind of struggle with. If you guys have any good ideas for solutions for shelving, let me know. I find that if the shelving is too deep, things get in the back and are lost. They're just swallowed up forever. So that's something I work on. I did recently just put a shelf up here. I think you can see that, yeah. And that's for my primers, my airbrush flow improver, airbrush thinner, some putty, primers, more primers, and that's all directly above my my paint booth. And then I have my airbrushes right here in my little airbrush caddy. So that's kind of the painting corner. That area there is working out really pretty cool for me. This area here is just the area that I'm still kind of fine-tuning. I really wish I could find a way to have less stuff on the table surface. An idea that I've been kind of playing around with a little bit is maybe a small shelf underneath the table, just a few inches down, where I can put things I'm working with all the time: calculators, little machinist squares, 1, 2, 3 blocks, calipers, just little things that I'm always going to be grabbing. If they were just right here and not on top of the surface, that might make a big difference. So it's a constant struggle to try to balance between keeping the place real clean and then actually not spending all your time cleaning, but actually get some work done. So it's just something that I struggle with. I'm not a terribly neat person. I know some people, have to have everything clean all the time. I'm not like that. I can come into a dirty environment and just go right to work. So I have to kind of consciously retrain myself to be that type of person that wants an area clean. And that's something I'm going to talk about next. This area here, kind of applies to my hobby and applies to my business. This is where a lot of the dirty work happens. I have an office here in the shop. It's a very small office. It's mainly where I do my shipping, because there's a computer in there for that, and a scale and things like that. And it's also the computer that runs the laser cutter. So that's my little shop office. It's the size of a normal closet, just a small closet. But I also have another office inside my home. Now, those of you who don't know, my shop is a separate building on my property, so I work at home. My shop is at home. It's about the size of a 2-car garage. It's not a garage, it's a purpose-built building just for the business, but it's about the size of a 2-car garage. So if you have a garage at your house, just imagine that's where I work. But I have an office in the house as well, and that's where I do a lot of my book work, accounting, things like that, processing photos, product photos, entering things into the database for the website, the marketing, social media, all the crap that goes along with running a business that doesn't have to happen out in the shop. I do that in the house. And that office was a spare bedroom in the house. And about 7.5 years ago, when I started this company, I had to take over that room and make it the office for the company. So the company's been growing, since I started about 7.5 years ago, like I said, and I keep adding things to that room. There's extra bookshelves come in, and another bookshelf comes in, and then a bunch of manuals, game rules, and then another desk came in because I got 3D printers and things like that. So I've got a couple of desks in there, and then I'd start having a small project maybe I'm working on out here, and I'd take it in there. So then one of the desks started to become like a little workbench, and I put a paint rack there, and I put a couple of other things there, and things literally just piled up. And over the last 7.5 years, I tried as much as I could to keep it tidy for a while, but it turned into a disaster zone. Like I said, things kept getting piled in there, and stuff on top of stuff, and I'd work on a project and some things would be left over and they just get kind of pushed back on the desk. And about a month ago, it got to the point where it was driving me crazy. The office was horrible. I'm almost embarrassed to show you guys a picture of it, except that that it's a business office, and for 7.5 years it just kept getting more and more cluttered. So I made a decision that enough was enough. I've put a lot of work into this company, and I've done fairly well. I'm by no means a rich man, that's for sure, but I make a decent living, and I put a lot of effort into getting where I am today. So I thought, it's finally time that I kind of take a minute and kind of reward myself with a nice work environment, a place that I want to go into. The office in the house became a place that I kind of dreaded going into because it was a shithole. It was a mess, and I didn't like going in there, and that affected my work attitude, my work ethic. I just kind of avoided it. So I wanted a place that I'm happy to go to, and that it inspires me to sit down and do some work. So I'm going to show you a picture right now of what the office looked like about a month ago. So there you go. It's probably worse than you thought it was going to be. Once I saw a picture of it myself, I realized, because I took a panorama, so it was really more, I was seeing more than I normally see at one time. I was seeing it all at once in its entirety, and it kind of made me sick. I was just like, this has gotten out of hand. It's horrible. And that's when I said, you know, I need to do something about this. I need a clean start. So over a couple of weeks, I took everything out of that room. Everything out of the room. Painted the walls, cleaned the carpets, got rid of most of the furniture that came out, the bookshelves that were literally stacked on top of each other because they were only like 4 feet tall, so I needed 2. Got rid of those. Got rid of one of the desks. It was a L-shaped corner desk. Bought a new desk. Bought a new bookshelf. Bought a lot of shelving for the walls. Some really cool lights. A lot of cable management stuff for all my networking and computer stuff. And really started over from scratch. Threw away a shit ton of stuff and put some other things away in boxes that I knew I didn't need, and then brought everything back in and set up basically a new office from scratch. And in a minute I'm going to take you into the new office and show it to you, because I'm very proud of it. It looks cool, I enjoy it, and it makes me want to work now, because when I work out here in the shop, I'm filling orders for you guys. I don't know if you're a customer or not, but if you are a customer, I'm filling orders for you guys. I'm making new products. I'm, running molding machines, pouring resin, running the laser, things like that. But when I finish here, I'm one of those lucky bastards that loves my job so much that when I go into the house, I go right back to work again. I sit down in that new office now and I feel inspired to create, whether it's getting on the CAD system and designing something new, getting in the 3D modeling software and designing something that I'm going to 3D print, or just getting on the website and working on photos or product descriptions or adding new products or whatever. Now it's really a pleasure to go into that room and sit in there and work, where before I really dreaded it. So that was kind of my point about this video, really, is the question or the hypotheses or whatever, is a clean and organized working environment necessary for creativity, or does it make you more creative or make you want to work more and do better? In my case, yes, I found that. Like I said, I've worked a certain way for well over 30 years, and just recently I've kind of turned this corner where I just want things to be a little nicer, and I feel like I'm 53 years old. I've been working in shops my entire life, and I've been working in this particular business for 7.5 years. I really felt like it's time to kind of give myself a little something back in the form of a nice environment to work in. So okay, you've seen the picture of what the office looked like before, and that is the official Gamecraft Miniatures business office, and it was an embarrassing disaster. So I'll flash that up on the screen again here for a second so you can be reminded of how horrible it was, and then I'll take you inside and show you my new office. Alright, well, welcome to my new office. This is my desk here. This is in the corner where the old desk was. I've got my, get turned around here, I've got my main Macintosh computer here, a 27-inch iMac, which I use for most of my non-technical stuff. I use it for the photo editing, all the social media stuff, working on the website and the database and things like that. Over here I've got a Windows laptop, Dell, that I use for all my CAD work. I do all my AutoCAD on here and all my 3D CAD, solid modeling and stuff on here. Let me zoom out a little bit. Over here I have this pretty cool new display case that I got at IKEA. It's a glass display case. I've got some of my 6mm models in there. I've even got my collection of Star Wars X-Wing models in there, so that's pretty cool. You can see on my desk here, I've done some custom LED lighting on the underside of here, inside this cabinet. I don't know if you can see down in this, there's a cabinet down here too that also has LED lighting in it. That's kind of cool. And then all over the room I have the Philips Hue lighting system, so I can change the color of different lights. Like you can see up here in this corner, this sort of reddish color up there. So this is sort of the command center. This is where most of the business takes place. I've got a microphone here because I do a lot of the podcasting stuff here as well. Up here on this shelf here, I've got the 12 terabyte RAID. That's where a lot of the business files live. And then next to that, there's some 4 and 5 terabyte backup drives for different things. And then my optical drive here. I've got a nice tablet for working on, you know, graphics files and things like that here. Other than that, it's just a pretty cool new clean desk. Doesn't look anything like the old one. Let's see, where the camera is now, you can see, okay, here, over here, this desk was in here before, but it was just covered in crap. But now it houses the 3D printer stereolithography machine. This is my coolest piece of equipment I own. Well, actually, I guess the laser cutter is cooler. It's definitely way bigger and way more expensive, but this is still a pretty cool machine here. This is the stereolithography machine. It creates 3D printed parts out of a liquid resin using lasers. Or you're probably familiar with most 3D printers where they use a plastic filament, and that creates a low to medium resolution model. The resin-based machines create a much higher resolution model, so that's kind of cool. I'll have to swing the camera over into that corner and show you what's going on over there. But already, I hope you can see that it looks a hell of a lot different than it did before. And it's a really nice place to come in and work now. I've got some new rugs on the floor. I've got a plastic chair mat. Actually, I had this chair before. This is a fairly new chair, but I had it before. So the main thing is that when I come in here, it's very comfortable, it's very clean. I can get right to work. I don't have to dig through a bunch of shit on my desk to try to figure out what I'm doing. Everything's pretty organized, and it makes me pretty happy. So let me stop the camera for a second, and then we'll just swing over there and show that part of the room, and then we'll be back over here in a second. Okay, so over here, we're back over at the stereolithography machine. That's kind of where we left off. Right here, this is accessories for that machine. This is the finishing station. When the parts come out of there, they have to go into an alcohol bath to clean off the extra resin, and that's what all of this business here is for. So that keeps everything real nice in one package right there. This is actually a set of wargaming rules that I've been meaning to have a look at. It's called Intervention. Looks pretty cool. Designed for 6mm, I'm pretty sure. So kind of keeping that out so I'll remember about it. Got some printers over here. Got my color printer. Got my black and white laser printer there. This is most of the networking equipment for the entire house and the business and the shop. This is the cable equipment here for the internet coming in. This is the wireless router, and then I've got a Ethernet hub here which everything gets plugged into, and these run all through the house. So that's all very well organized. Done a little bit with cable management, trying to keep everything kind of clean and together. Not 100% successful. Some of it's still a little floppy there, but I'm figuring it all out as I go. And then over here is the new the new bookshelf that I bought that matches the desk, of course. All of this in here is, these are all tank transports full of all my 6mm micro armor. A little bit of software here. The Cards Against Humanity. Some wargaming rules and some magazines and books and a few manuals and things like that. Pretty well organized without looking too cluttery. So you'll remember from the first photo maybe, or I'll flash it back up on the screen, this desk was approximately right, actually it was exactly right here before. It was always here. But I had another desk sort of like it over here, and in between the two was just a piece of wood, and this printer was sitting on top of it, so that was a little bit weird. So it's a little nicer the way it's all situated here. And of course I don't have as much crap on top, so it's easier to keep it clean. Living out here in the desert, dust is a real huge issue, but I've got the windows closed up really tight, and the room is actually staying pretty clean, so I'm very happy about that. So that's this corner of the room. So as I said in the beginning of the video, the whole point of this video was to sort of have a discussion about whether or not a clean or organized workspace makes you more productive or makes you produce a better product or whatever. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. I'm finding for me, definitely, like I said before, I can work in almost any environment, but I'm finding it more pleasurable to work in an area that's much cleaner and better organized. Trying not to get obsessive about it. You know, you can devote all of your time to organizing and cleaning and then never get anything done. But I find that once you have an area that's, you know, nice and organized and clean, it sure is a lot easier to keep it that way. It's funny that it's taken me, you know, over 50 years to learn that in life. Some people learn that pretty early, but it's taken me a while. But now that I'm finally starting to get it, I see the advantage of having a nice work area. I can't guarantee it's going to stay like this forever. It might go, you know, through phases. It might get dirty and then get cleaned and whatever. But for now, it's making me happy to come to work. And like I said before, I work very, very long days. I work out in the shop and then I work in here. So if I'm not in here, I'm in the shop. And if I'm not here or in the shop, I'm either eating a meal or sleeping. You know, it's my whole life. And no complaints there. It's a great life. I enjoy what I do. But if I'm going to be spending this much time doing something, I feel like it needs to be enjoyable, you know, most of the time. No job is enjoyable 100% of the time, not even my job, but it's nice when it's enjoyable most of the time. And having a nice, organized, and relatively clean work environment just makes it that much more enjoyable for me. I'm finding I'm getting more work done. I'm finding I'm more motivated, especially to come in here. It's fun to come in here now because it's nice, and I have all these kind of cool toys. I have the colored lights that I can play around with, the different colors of the lights, different lighting schemes, and it's all done through my phone and stuff. So that's kind of, I mean, it's goofy, geeky stuff, but it just makes it more fun. And then little projects like doing the LED lights under here and stuff. And I have LED lights that go around the back of the monitor, and they change colors randomly. So just adding little touches like that has just made the whole process of doing this, getting this set up, it's made it kind of fun. It's made it, you know, kind of a hobby in itself, just kind of doing all this. So anyways, I probably could babble on all night, and I usually do, but I'd like to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts? Do you have a dirty work environment? Do you have a clean work environment? Are you organized, or is your shit everywhere? And does it matter to you? Do you find that you work better in a clean work environment, or do you find that you work better in a dirty work environment? Some people just thrive in a dirty work environment, and I have done that. Like I said, I've been in shops where there's an inch of sawdust on the floor and just shit everywhere, and you have to fight for horizontal workbench space because there isn't any. But I've still turned out some really cool models from in an environment like that. So maybe I'm changing. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. I don't know. I don't have the patience for that kind of crap anymore. I want things to be nice. And like I said, I've worked my entire career, worked very hard, and I've worked a lot of hours, and I kind of feel like I'm getting to that point now where I feel like I get a little bit back now. I get a little bit of enjoyment out of you know, a nice environment. I feel like I guess I kind of feel like I've earned it. It's kind of funny way to put it, since I work for myself. I can give myself anything that I can afford to, I guess. But I've finally gotten to the point where I kind of feel like I deserve it. I've earned it. So that's how I'm treating myself right now. Maybe in a month or two I'll be over all this and I'll be back to buying toys and games again. But for now I feel like I've given myself something cool. And that's kind of a, you know, when you don't have a boss, you don't get bonuses, you don't get vacations, you have to give yourself things, and I guess that's what I'm doing. So anyways, I said I wouldn't go on babbling forever, and here I am doing it. So I'm just going to cut it off right here and say, leave me some comments, subscribe to my channel, click like, and please, if you like my videos or my audio podcasts, tell a friend, tell a couple of friends, post something on a forum or something. I really need to get more people involved in this with me. It makes it easier for me when I get more feedback from people. All right, that's it for now. Talk to you guys later. Keep on gaming.